Hey guys, what's up? How y'all doing? Hope you're having a great week this week. Talking about addiction recovery and excited to be back and diving in. So today we're going to be talking about step five, and step five is all about confession. And it's about admitting to yourself and to another person the exact nature of your wrongs. And I've been thinking a lot about that this week because I feel like everybody has stuff in their life, whether you are dealing with an addiction or not. You have things from your past that are shameful, heartbreaking, embarrassing, things that make us feel vulnerable. And this week and this lesson is really all about finding a mentor or a coach or someone in your life that can help you through the hard things that you're going through, and multiple mentors, right? Maybe not just one person, but many people that you can turn and look to kind of help show you the way and help um, kind of guide you to the path that you're looking to create, right? The life that you're looking to create. People that have maybe more money than you, or more happiness than you, or better relationships than you. You're looking at people who are, for lack of a better word, like better off than you are, or at a higher level that you are at, that can help you to kind of get to that next level. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about someone who is trying to overcome an addiction and you're trying to get to a place where you don't have an addiction anymore. And so you're looking to someone who's already overcome an addiction to help guide you, or someone that earns more money than you, or just someone, like I said, that has a better relationship than you, or has better tools and relationship skills and buildings. It's just basically looking for people in your life who are smarter than you are, who can help you kind of get to that next level. And I have had a lot of really great mentors in my life. And so I'm excited to kind of jump in and talk about this step because it's a step that I am super passionate about. One of the steps that has blessed my life the most and made the biggest impact on my life is surrounding myself with people who were a lot smarter than me, who knew things that I didn't know. And I think that that's kind of made the biggest difference in my life and in being able to improve and better myself, is finding people that could mentor me and kind of help me to create what I was looking to create, what I wanted to create, but didn't know how to create, or what I wasn't, the tools that I wasn't raised with, type of a thing. So, if you look at like Alcoholics Anonymous program, a lot of times they have like a sponsor, right? And a sponsor in a program like Alcoholics Anonymous is someone who, when you're having a tough day on the road to recovery, or you're, worried about slipping up or failing, or you just need strength or someone to lean on, you can turn to that sponsor. And so for me, it doesn't really matter what you call that person. I don't care if you call them a sponsor. I don't care if you call them, if you're looking at like a church leader, a pastor, a priest, a bishop, a rabbi, it can be a grandparent, it can be a business person, it can be a sports person, it can be just anybody in your life that has attained something or has reached a level that you want to reach. So, one of the things that it talks about in this week is, so after you do step four, right? And if you remember last week, we talked about really writing out, your life and the things that have happened in your life, the things that are good, the things that are bad, the things that you've made, mistakes in. And when you do that, when you start to actually write out your life and what it looks like, it really helps you to gain perspective on, what's going on and what's happening in your life. And when you talk to someone else about what's going on, it can kind of help you to see an outside perspective. So to give you an example, like there have been a lot of teens that have come to me in the past, I don't know, 4-ish months, and have talked to me about their addictions and things that they were dealing with. And every time that they have been able to do that, they've been able to open up, they've been able to be honest about whatever it is that they're struggling with or dealing with. Um, a lot of times I can say things, or I can listen and hear what they're saying, and I can recognize patterns or see things that they could do that would improve that they can't see themselves, right? You kind of get in a rut, and all of us are like this. We all get stuck in this rut where we can't see an outside perspective. And so it really helps to just have kind of a third party come in, see what you're dealing with, and then offer some perspective from an outside, unattached, unemotional way. And so I think I've been able to say a lot of things and help a lot of people, and maybe help them recognize things that they maybe wouldn't have been able to recognize on their own. And so just having that outside source can be really, really helpful. So there really is two parts to this week's lesson and this week's steps. So it's all about confession. And when we're talking about confession, we're talking about it in two ways. So the first part of confessing is, once you've written it out and you can see on paper and in your heart, like the things that you've messed up on, the things that you're trying to improve on, we have a responsibility to take those things to God and really confess to God, to talk to him, to tell him what's going on in our lives, to apologize for times we've messed up, for ways that we've fallen short. So that's kind of the first step, is really partnering with God, talking to God, making him kind of your friend on this journey, recognizing that he's the only person that can understand exactly how you feel and what you're going through. And so having the savior as that person can be really, really helpful. And then the second part is finding someone outside yourself, right? Finding another mentor. And really it's about, so the lesson calls it disclosure, right? You're disclosing, and that is an essential part of addiction recovery, right? If you are trying to overcome an addiction, you need someone that you can talk to about it, that you can visit with about, that can mentor and can help you through that. And so I wanted to share with you just some thoughts and some things that I was thinking about today as I was thinking about the steps. So many of you guys know I started to build my own business about, I don't even know how many years ago, a long time, 10, 11, 12 years, somewhere in there. I should add it up, but it's a long time. And I was doing this thing that was really, really hard. I had never built a business before. I didn't really know anybody who had kind of owned their own business that was similar to what I was trying to create. And so it was really, really hard. I built my business using like YouTube and Facebook and, social media and technology. And those that know me, I suck at technology. Like I'm horrible at it. Even just like trying to hook up a laptop to a TV and connecting the HDMI cord and getting it on the right channel is a huge thing for me. Like I'm not good at technology. And so, I had to find people in my life that knew how to do that kind of thing, right? So anytime we are trying to do something in life that we don't know how to do, we have to find a mentor or a coach or someone that can help us. And so for me, when I started to build my own business, I was trying to do something I had never done before. I was trying to earn an amount of money that I had never earned before. I was trying to build a YouTube channel. I had never even watched YouTube channels, and I was suddenly trying to create one and find followers. I was trying to figure out how to sell things to people. I was trying to figure out how to photograph products. I was trying to figure out how to teach and speak in front of people in a salesy type of way. I was trying to achieve a level of success that I had never had before and didn't even know really a lot of people that had had it before. And so I had to find someone that was smarter than me. I had to find a mentor. At any time we are trying to overcome something or do something that we haven't done before, we really have to have someone to kind of help show us the way. We have to have a mentor or a guide. And if you are someone who you are trying to overcome an addiction, and I don't care what the addiction is, I don't care if it's gambling, I don't care if it's porn, I don't care if it's alcohol or meth or chewing tobacco or vaping or weeding, whatever, like whatever, addiction that you have, if you are trying to overcome an addiction, you are trying to do something you've never done before. And if you have done it before and you've like fallen off the bandwagon and you have the addiction again, then you didn't do it right? You somehow missed something. Maybe you quit your addiction for a little while, but now you're back at it again. Clearly you're missing something. You're trying to do something that you have never done before. And so you need outside help. And in my life, I have literally spent thousands of dollars on mentors and coaches and teachers and counselors and therapists and people to help me. And it was the best money that I ever spent because they were able to help me achieve something that I couldn't achieve on my own. They were able to help teach me things, and I was able to learn things through their tutelage that I would never have been able to do on my own if I didn't have that outside help. And so I have to find people in my life, and you have to find people in your life that are smarter than you are in that area. Who know things that you don't, and who have training and an outside perspective that you don't have, and who can call us on our crap. So one of the things that ends up happening is when we are raised in the families that we are raised in, we just kind of grow up thinking that the way that we're raised is normal, right? It's the only thing that we know. So when we're little kids and we grow up, what we see every single day, we just think that that's normal. Like that's all we know. And so we kind of have these blinders that are on where everything that goes on in our home and in like that outside circle of maybe our extended family, we assume that that's how everyone lives. And we kind of assume that that's maybe normal. And it's all we ever know. So for example, if we have, if our dad always yelled at or screamed at or talked disrespectfully to our mom, then as a little kid, you just assume that that's normal. You just assume that all men treat women that way because that's the only thing that you've ever seen. Oh, sorry, I've got like word screens popping up here. Okay. So that's kind of your normal, right? You don't know anything different. And so that's the only thing that you know. And so you have to find people that can really help you to take the blinders off and help you to see that outside perspective and specifically call us out on our crap and our excuses. One of the things that I learned really early on that was surprising to me when I started to build my business was that just because I believed something didn't make it true. Like I just thought that everything I believed was truth, right? If I believed it, it must be true, which is really, really naive. And you need people in your life to be able to, you know, challenge the status quo and challenge what you think you know about who you are and what you're capable of creating and about the life that you live. So just as an example, I was raised by a stay-at-home mom. So my mom was a stay-at-home mom, very much like a homemaker type. She was like the one that like cooked and cleaned and sewed and made bread and raised us. She was at home with us as kids. Both of my grandmothers were stay-at-home mothers, and the people that I was around were stay-at-home mom. The people in my church, a lot of them were stay-at-home moms. A lot of my aunts were stay-at-home moms that like the only thing they did was stay home, have babies, and raise those babies. And even when I got married, my husband's mother is very much that way. She is a stay-at-home mom, was a stay-at-home mom. My husband's grandmas were stay-at-home moms. And so, you know, when and I decided very young, so literally as probably, I don't even know, like 10 years old, I knew that I wanted more. Like, yes, I knew that I wanted to be a mom and a wife, and I was looking forward to that, but I knew that I wanted to own my own business. I knew that I wanted to travel and see places. I knew that I wanted to make an impact for good on the world that was bigger than just my family or my children. And so I knew, like, as a very like young girl, that I had hopes and dreams that were like outside what I had seen, right? Outside the normal kind of status quo, were outside what I perceived as normal. And so I had to find someone outside of my circle. Like when I got ready to build a business, I had to look outside of the people that I knew because nobody around me that I knew was doing anything different, right? Everybody around me was a stay-at-home mom raising their kids. And so luckily, I mean, I had a friend, Stacy, who is an amazing mom, amazing wife. She has 6 kids, so she had one more kid than I did, and she was earning $10,000 a month. And I just thought, okay, if there is a woman out there who has more kids than I do, right? She has 6 kids, and she's earning $10,000 a month, and she's traveling, and she's teaching, and she owns her own business, and she's making this huge impact for good on the world. Like, if she can do it, I can do it. Like, what is she doing? And luckily, she kind of set me on that journey of being able to find, you know, a mentor, someone to like help me, someone to show me what was possible because I didn't have it in my own life. And so I needed someone. And so all of us have things in our lives that are not, you know, what we want. You know, maybe, you know, your parents' marriage sucks and you know, like, I don't want a marriage like that. You can't look to your parents' marriage and do what they did, or you're going to end up exactly where they are. And so you have to look outside, right? Who do you know in your life? Is there an aunt, an uncle, a set of grandparents, a boss, friends, coaches that have a great, awesome, wonderful marriage? And you can tell that they have a really strong, healthy relationship. You know, what do they do? Watch them, stalk them, see what they're doing, find out what it is and what tools that they have to make a successful, happy relationship and marriage, and then emulate that. So you have to do that, right? Especially if you've been raised in a home where you've never seen what a healthy marital relationship looks like and you come from divorce all the way around you, right? You have to find someone that has the tools that you don't have, the tools that you haven't seen. You know, maybe you grew up with a dad who was, you know, non-existent and wasn't in your home. You know, that doesn't mean that you have to be that kind of dad. It just means that you might have to look outside of your own dad or stepdad to find examples of what a great dad looks like. You can still be a great dad. You can be a dad that's there for your kids. You can be, you know, the person that's there for your kids and provides for your kids and loves your kids and is a great, awesome dad. But if you don't have that example in your life, you have to find those outside sources that can teach you what that looks like. You know, if your parents spend all of their money their entire lives on, you know, cigarettes and beer, and they've spent their entire lives, you know, drinking too much and smoking too much and coughing and dealing with, you know, all of the side effects of their choices, whether it's, you know, weight or health or, you know, just they're not going anywhere. They're sitting on the couch watching, you know, Monday Night Sports again with a beer in their hand, and that's what they've accomplished in their life. You're gonna have to look outside your own parents, your own family, your own home. Doesn't make them bad, doesn't make you any better than them, but it just means that you want to do things different. And that's okay. And it can be a little bit scary, but it is something that you can do. And you have to get smart about who do I know that is doing things different and how can I do that? How can I create that? And a lot of times we can see the things that are dysfunctional. So I would say there's like it's like an 80-20 world rule. So I feel like when I was growing up, there was about 20% of the things that were going on that were dysfunctional that I could recognize, right? So each of us as a child of God is born with the light of Christ, the spirit of God within us. And so a lot of times, even though we are raised in dysfunction, right? Even maybe if we're raised in like an abusive home, we can recognize an intuition, the spirit tells us like this isn't right. And so about 20% of the things that are dysfunctional in your life, like and you can see. You can look at your parents, you can look at your grandparents, you can look at your parents as friends, and you can say that's dysfunctional. That doesn't work. The way that they're managing their money is not good, right? Like they're in debt again, or they're driving a truck that they cannot afford, or they're in a house that they have to have a payment on, right? Who wants to have a house payment? Not me. And so you can look at people in your life that are doing things that don't add up, that are dysfunctional, and you can pick out about 20%. But about, in my experience, 80% of the things that are dysfunctional about the way that you're raised and about the environment that you're in, you don't know that they're dysfunctional, right? You don't even recognize that the way that things are going on in your life, the way that you've been raised, the environment that you're in is not normal. You can't see, and you don't know it's not your fault, right? You don't know any different because you haven't seen anything that's different, and so you think it's normal. So really, honestly, about 80% of the things that are dysfunctional in your life, you don't even know are dysfunctional in your life. And a lot of times you don't realize it's dysfunctional in your life until you move out of your house and you get married and you are exposed to other environments. A lot of times, when you move out on your own for the first time, whether you're going to college or whether you're working a job, that's kind of when you first get exposed to like, oh, like I always thought that was normal. That's not normal. But a lot of the things that are happening in our lives as we're a teenager and as we're growing up are completely dysfunctional, and we have no idea that it's dysfunctional. We don't even realize that there's a better way of doing things. And so that's where we need those outside perspectives. Couple of quotes that I love that I heard early on in my business career was if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And I really believe that. If I go into a room of people and I'm the smartest one there and I know more about relationships or money or whatever it is, like I'm in the wrong room. If you are the best basketball player on the team, you're probably on the wrong team, right? You're not going to get any better. You need to find coaches and players that are better than you are. If you are the smartest person in math in the math class that you're in the wrong class. Like you need to go to some place that challenges you. If you have the most healthy relationship that you might need to be around people that have even healthier relationships than you. Like you always want to be up leveling your game. It's kind of like playing a video game, right? You always want to make it to the next level. And that really is how life is. Like we want to make it to the next level of happiness, the next level of money, the next level of, enriching activities in our lives and relationships and those types of things that really make life worth living. If you know more about God than any person at your church, you might be in the wrong church, right? You need to have that constant improvement because that's what brings peace and happiness and growth. And as human beings, one of our like basic necessities, the things that we need to be happy, is growth and improvement. And we can't do that if we're stuck around the same people in the same rut all the time. And so just recognizing that. And then another quote that I really love is that you're the sum total of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Look at the people that you hang out with, look at the people that you spend time with. Are they better than you, or are you the best one in the group? If you are the smartest one in your group of friends, you might need some new friends and you might need to find those quickly because you're not going to get any better if you're the smartest one in your group of friends. And that's kind of sad too. I just, yeah, find some friends that are smarter than you, that want you to be better. Find people that are better than you. Find people that make you want to be better. Make sure that the people that you date bring you up a level. If you are the strong one in the relationship, you might be in the wrong relationship. You always want to date people and have relationships with people who bring you up and make you want to be a better person. And if the relationship that you're in does not stretch you and does not make you want to be better, if you don't want to be better for the person that you're with, you're in the wrong relationship. Part of the reason that I feel like my marriage has worked is because I am really strong in all of the areas that my husband is really weak at. And he is amazing and rocking and strong in the areas that I suck at. And so we are constantly up leveling each other. And I can see his weaknesses, he can see mine, and you can kind of help each other become better people. And that's really, really important. Okay, so as you wrote out your inventory last week, and as you write out kind of your life and what's wrong with it and the things that have happened in your life, you start to kind of see a pattern unfold, right? You start to see, you go from like scene to scene in your life, and you begin to see patterns of weaknesses, patterns of self-doubt, patterns of negative thoughts. And, you know, it really helps you once you have that pattern and you see that pattern to be able to find somebody that has an outside perspective. And so this week's, step 5 confession is really just all about finding someone in your life that you can talk to, and someone in your life who is another person who can help to recognize improvements that you need to make in your life. So there's a quote from this week's lesson. It's by a guy by the name of Spencer Kimball. He says, improvement can never come until one has bared their soul and admitted their actions without excuses or rationalizations. Those people who choose to meet the issue head on and form their lives may find that the road to improvement is super hard at first, but they will find that indefinitely they will be able to have that it's the more desirable path, and they will be able to reap the reward. And so basically what ends up happening is as you start on this path and as you're trying to figure things out, it can be really, really hard. And it can be really hard to have someone call you on your crap. But as you do that, as you start to up level your game, you find it creates more peace and more happiness in your life. Sorry, you notice this lighting's really weird. Okay, so one of the other things that it says is that the sooner you begin the process, the sooner you'll find the peace and the joy that you need in your life. One of the things that I wanted to say is I've had a lot of mentors and coaches in my life, a lot more than I can name. I remember writing them down one time and trying to name like all of the different people that have mentored or coached me in my life, or therapists, counselors, people that I've talked to, business coaches I've had, life coaches that I've had. There's a lot. And for the most part, I've had some really good people in my life to kind of guide and direct me. I've also had a couple of really crappy ones. And so as you're thinking about, who you want to confess to, who you want to talk to, who you want to help you on your path, making sure that you find someone that is a good fit for you. So I've had 2 experiences in my life where the people that I worked with were not great. So I had a business coach years and years ago when I very first started my business. And every time that I would get stuck, or every time that I would come up against like a false belief or something that like stopped me where I couldn't make progress, she was not very helpful. She would say things like, I just remember saying things like, well, if you can't figure it out, then you must not want it. You must not want it bad enough. And, I was trying as hard as I could and couldn't figure out what I needed to do. I couldn't figure out where I was going wrong. And she'd say, well, when you want it bad enough, you'll figure it out. And, things like that were not very helpful for me. I am very much an action person, and I need the steps. I need somebody to show me like step by step what you want me to do. And if you can tell me step by step what you want me to do, I will jump in, I will rock it, I will do it, I will have that self-discipline. But I just was stuck and didn't know what to do. And so that wasn't a very helpful relationship. Didn't have that mentor for very long. I had another one a couple of years ago. She was really good, a brilliant, brilliant mentor coach. But every time that I would, come up against something that I was doing in my business that was really dumb, she would laugh at me. Like she would just call it out and she'd be like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, why are you running your business like that? And she was right. A lot of times the perspective and the outside perspective that she had was right, but she always said it in a very rude and a very condescending way. And I could take it for about maybe like a month or 6 weeks. And then I was like, I'm just done. Like, yes, I want you to call me on my crap. Yes, I want to know what I'm doing wrong, but I don't want you to laugh at me. I don't want you to make fun of me. Like, yes, I realize I'm messed up. I realize I am a small town dairy farm girl and I have some hickish ideas and some really messed up beliefs. Like, I get that. I will acknowledge that. I will own that all day, every day. But like, you don't have to make fun of me for it. Like, show me a better way, teach me a better way. I will try to do things differently, but don't laugh at me. And so that didn't last very long, right? I needed someone that wasn't going to make fun of me or make me embarrassed or laugh at me. I needed someone that was going to help me and be encouraging to me and point out the things that I was doing right and the things that I can improve on. And so you want to make sure, and it says, use great care and wisdom when selecting someone to mentor you. I don't know. Like I said, I've been really honored to have a lot of amazing mentors in my life. I've spent a lot of money on mentors in my life, people that could help me. And I'm really grateful for them because they saw me at my worst. They saw all of my weaknesses. They saw all my screwed up, weird, false beliefs and didn't give up on me and knew that I could do better and I could make something more of myself and could help me through times. And I've had the opportunity to mentor a lot of people. And I hope that I've always been that kind of mentor to other people. I've had a lot of people confide in me, especially recently, about addictions that they're going through. And I know that has been really scary for a lot of people. I know a lot of people, as they were talking to me about the things that they were addicted or addictions or things that they were dealing with, that was really nerve-wracking for them. They didn't want me to think less of them, or they were embarrassed about it, or they weren't sure what I was going to think or what I was going to do, or if I was going to tell their parents, or those types of things. And, in every case, I hope that they had a good experience. I think they had. I think that everyone that I have mentored and talked to specifically about addiction, and even in business, has come away a better person having talked to me. I feel like I'm a pretty good listener, and I feel like I'm pretty good at bringing an outside perspective, mostly because I've had 12-ish years of training on how to do that and how to mentor people. My mentors have taught me how to mentor and how to do that. And then just recognizing that you need someone that really loves and cares about you on a personal level. And I think that's one of the brilliant things about a good mentor, or something that makes someone a good mentor, is the fact that they love you no matter what, and that they don't care about your crap. They just love you for who you are, but help you to be a better person. I've tried to always do that. I know all of the people that I have talked to that have come to me and talked to me about their addictions and been really vulnerable about like really stupid things that they've done, or mistakes that they've made, or things that they're, bigger than them, their addictions that they're dealing with, that they're, failing at time and time again. I've never thought any less of any of the people that I've talked to. I've had people confide in me, about messed up relationships that they've had, people that they slept with that they wish they wouldn't have, alcohol, drug raves that they wish they wouldn't have been involved in. And every time, like, I don't think anything less of them. I actually think more of them for being able to admit their weaknesses, for being able to own their crap, for being able to try to do better the next time. And I think that's kind of what having a mentor is all about. It's someone who helps you to know what you're messed up on, know what you're screwed up on, and help you to kind of be better. Um, and we all need that in our lives. A couple of years ago, I remember, so it was right when I was starting to raise teenagers. So I feel like I've always been a pretty okay mom, maybe not the best mom, but I've always tried to be like a really good mom. And I feel like I'm a pretty good mom of little kids, but I had no idea how to raise teenagers, like just no idea. And my parents were not the greatest examples of raising teenagers. My husband's parents were not great examples of how to raise teenagers. They didn't understand or have a healthy parent-child relationship with their teenagers. And so neither my husband or I were raised by parents who really knew how to manage or raise teenagers in the right way. And I remember being so discouraged because my husband and I were trying to figure out, like, how do we raise teenagers for the first time years ago. And I remember looking at this one guy that I knew. He was a marriage and family therapist, and he had 4 sons, and all of his sons were just like the most amazing young men. They were polite and kind and respectful. They were just these amazing teenagers. And I was like, okay, like, how do you do that? Right? I don't know how to do that. I don't have an example of that in my life. And so I went to him and I said, hey, like, I want in. I know you're a marriage and family therapist. Like, I know you're a counselor. Like, I need counseling. Like, I need what you have. You have tools. You know things that I don't have. You know things about how to raise teenagers and how to deal with teenagers and how to guide teenagers and how to be a good, parent of teenagers, that I don't know how to do that. And so, paid him a bunch of money, sat through, I think it was like 6 or 8 different sessions, took as many notes as I could, and learned the tools of, like, this is how you parent a teenager. No one had ever taught me that before. I had never seen that before. And it made a world of difference in the way that I was raising my teenagers. I started to do things different. I'm a completely different parent of my teenagers now than I was, 5 years ago. Way better parent. I'm still not perfect. I'm still not there. My children will tell you every time everyone's like, oh, you have the coolest mom. They're like, oh, yeah, you have no idea who she really is, right? Because they know me, they know all my weaknesses. But we have to be able to find tools outside of ourselves. So, my challenge this week for you guys is that as you go throughout your life, that you find mentors and coaches that can help you. That you find someone that you can talk to about your weaknesses, the things that you're dealing with, that you find someone, if you're dealing with an addiction, that you find someone who's overcome an addiction and you talk to them, or you find someone that can mentor or guide you or help you, and you're 100% honest with them. The only way that mentors can really help you, or coaches can really help you, is if you come clean 100% and tell them really what you're thinking and how you feel and the level that you're at. I knew that I'd had a breakthrough with one young man. We were talking about addiction, and he kind of downplayed it and downplayed it and downplayed it. Kind of pretended it really wasn't as bad as he thought it was. And then when we actually sat down and got talking about it, I said, okay, like, no judgment, like, tell me, like, how bad is this? And, I saw this little, like, light, it was almost like a light bulb click in his head, where he decided to be honest with me. And he was just like, it's all I ever think about. It's the first thing I think about in the morning. And I think about it every second of every hour of every day until I go to bed at night. It's everything that I think about. And it was really, really hard for him to do. It was really, really hard for him to go to that level and to admit that his addiction was bigger than him. And the thing is, I don't know if he's going to get help or not. Like, I don't know if he's going to beat it or not. Whether he does or doesn't is 100% up to him, right? That's his path and his thing. But I feel like that was the first step. That was the first step in admitting, like, this is bigger than me, is being honest about where he was and kind of owning that. And I think it's also important to own it if you're not in a place where you're ready to quit an addiction, to say, just to recognize, like, hey, I have an addiction. I know I have an addiction. I know it's really bad. This is where I'm at, but I'm not in a place where I want to tackle it. I'm not in a place where I want to beat it. I'm not in a place where I want to do these steps. They're too hard. And it's okay to be in that place, but it's important that you can be honest about where you're at in that place. But when you are ready to make those changes in your life, to find a mentor and find a bunch of different mentors, as you're looking at, if you want a relationship that's better than the relationship your parents had, look outside yourself. You might have to look to an aunt and uncle. You might have to find, a grandparent that had a really great relationship, a teacher, a coach, someone else in your church or your work circle, maybe your boss or someone that you work with or that employs you has a great marital relationship. And that's someone that you can talk to and say, hey, you seem to have a pretty good relationship. What works? Or your relationship sucks. What are you doing that I shouldn't do? Right? You can learn from other people's mistakes. If you're trying to make more money than you've ever made before, you have to find people that are making money. You can't talk to old broke Uncle Joe. You have to find someone who's actually successful in the world that you're in, and then talk to them and get help from them. So that's my challenge for you this week, is to find somebody that can mentor or coach you in the areas that you're trying to up level your life in. Because when you do that, when you can find people that are smarter than you, who know things that you don't know, that's when the magic happens. That's when you can really work to, becoming a better person and really creating a better life. Don't settle for the life that your parents had or your grandparents had or the people around you have. Don't settle for the life that you have now. You should constantly be wanting to improve. I don't know that I will ever have a time in my life where I do not have someone on my payroll that I am paying to mentor or coach me. Even when I haven't built business. So I kind of took a break from um, not really building my business. I still have my own business. I still own it, but I've kind of taken a break from like building it bigger. I've just kind of maintained it. And even just maintaining my business in my life, like I still employ a business coach and a life coach that I pay and I talk to every single month on a regular basis. And I let them know what I'm working on, what my projects are, what I'm struggling with. Because I need that in my life. If I want to be better and do better and accomplish things that I haven't accomplished before, like I have to find someone that is smarter than me and who can see that outside crap and call me on it. And so I'm super thankful for the mentors in my life. I hope you will utilize mentors and coaches and people in your life that can kind of help you on that path so that you can lead a better life now and always, right? Like I hope you constantly up level throughout your life and are constantly looking for that. So that's my challenge for you. Find some mentors in your life now and for the rest of your life. Always be looking for people who can mentor and guide you and help you create a better life. All right, that's all I have for you this week. You guys have a great one. Bye, guys.